What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Today is February the 6th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, as far as data points, in roughly 15 minutes, you have initial jobless claims. Forecast is 215,000, but I feel like that won't really move the market all that much. Possibly, it'll just move the likelihood of a Fed cut for the March 19th meeting. I think that's kind of the best case scenario. Aside from that, though, you have a couple of Fed speakers in the afternoon that could potentially move the market depending on what they do say. Aside from that, futures are looking pretty good. Dow is up 0.32, S&P up 0.35, NASDAQ is up 0.35. Fear and greed index is recovering, so I don't know if it's fixed itself or whatever, but definitely it's looking like it's moving or doing something. So starting off though, Sofi is kind of lagging the market, and it has been somewhat over the last little bit, and I think it is just because of just the lack of innovation. So they do have a fireside chat coming up on February the 11th, but Sofi is down slightly, nothing really crazy. No news associated to them, no SEC filings for today. So I'm going to go over some key points to really watch for. Shorts have been they haven't really been doing all that much for the last 2 weeks. Yesterday was a very unique circumstance that you did see cost to borrow average and minimum both negative. So there's more brokers trying to drum up business. It's not really working out for them all that well, but still 12.29% of the free float is being shorted. So just anticipate them to be most likely not really doing all that much. It is fair to assume, at least based on the last 2 weeks. But with it at $15.42, it is right above this S1. So 15.32 will be a key point to really watch for it to hold today. And then flip side, you have $16 to be the next strong target / resistance. So in my opinion, I feel like once the market does open, you'll see Sofi really move higher, similar to what happened yesterday. Just I think more and more entities are starting to wait up until market open to do any crazy moves, because they coincide that with their options. They either buy puts, buy calls, that way they can kind of benefit twofold. If you don't know options, highly suggest in researching it and all the other fun jazz. But I feel like today Sofi won't break that 16, but it should kind of move towards that in my opinion. So let me know your viewpoint on that. Ticker LAES, definitely gaining some pretty good momentum, even though they haven't put out any news today. Last 2 days they did put out news. February the 4th, actually sorry, 3 days, February 3rd, 4th, and also yesterday morning they did put out news. So that's starting to reinvigorate, I guess, the buying. So it is up 14.92%. It's 18.14% of the free floats being shorted, so it's not as heavily shorted as it once was. Still on the threshold list, and it does indicate that it's been on the threshold list since it looks like January the 24th. So at this stage in the game, I think the SEC should be rectifying it through market makers soon. That's if everything goes according to plan and whatever. But shorts definitely have been very reactive to any price increase, so just anticipate them to be somewhat active today. With at 447 though, trading between this pivot and this S1, so 272 will be a strong support. Definitely I don't see that being touched whatsoever, probably for the rest of the week. And then 521 will be that next strong target, and in my opinion, I think that's is a fair initial target. So most likely that could be reached and achieved today, and then depending on the momentum at the time, it might be able to break it. And so yeah, let me know your viewpoint on that. BigBear, ticker BBAI, definitely gaining some very good momentum, up 3.23%. No news this morning. They just had really good news yesterday, kind of reinvigorating some buying, ticker similar to ticker LAES. But as far as this goes, 21.48% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 39.08 million shares. Shorts haven't really been doing all that much despite the recent price increase. So the recent price increase over the last 1 month is up 53%. So shorts have been just holding on, like, I don't know. So whoever is doing it or shorting, Big Bear definitely does have relatively deep pockets. But with that 722, it is trading pretty much between this R3 and this R2. So 594 will be a strong support. 791 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So just anticipate a lot of volatility. In my opinion, I think that there is going to be a little bit of a consolidation first thing. bouncing off of the next strong support before it does move higher. And I think, again, that might coincide with a lot of options. So big players might do that first thing. But once again, what do I know? Ford. So they gave bad future guidance. A lot of companies are giving bad future guidance for whatever reason. So it is down 5.29% over the last 1 year, down 13.63. And even if we zoom out briefly for the last 5 years, this is not good. It's only up 20%. I know that's still okay for some individuals, but I think for opportunity cost, that's absolutely insane. The stock definitely has not done all that much, but 3.05% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 118.77 million shares overall are being shorted. Shorts have started to get back in, so clearly you can tell that they had a feeling that maybe they're going to miss on their earnings or give bad future guidance or something along those lines. So it looks like shorts kind of were anticipating that, but with it at $9.47, which is absolutely crazy, it is above this S2. So 9.45 is going to be that next strong support that you really want to watch for it to hold. Flip side, 9.67 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. In my opinion, I think today you won't see that much of a recovery. If anything, it might just orient itself around this S2, so trade accordingly. And last but not least, this is the most traded or heavily traded stock this morning, ticker LIPO. It is up 154%. Biotechs, although, aren't really my forte, so this is what they do, so you guys can pause it and read through it. But as far as the news, what's causing it, it came out early this morning. So it looks like they granted FDA approval for expanded access program for LP300 in oral lynch plainness. I don't know. But anyways, that's the reason why it's up. You guys do your own due diligence if it's worth it or not. It's not heavily shorted, so 2.6% of the free float's being shorted. Works out to be 22,000 shares overall being shorted. So not really all that much in either case. So again, that's kind of a good thing. As far as right now, with that $6.57 trading between this R1 and the pivot, so 9.53 is going to be the next strong target / resistance, and then 5.79 is going to be the next strong support. So given everything, it's a very wide gap, so just anticipate a lot of volatility. If anything, again, just because maybe I'm not an expert in that or whatever, I feel like it might gravitate towards this pivot point, but you never know. Based on that news, that might be the best, most epic news out there, so it might gravitate, push it towards this R1. So again, just do your own due diligence, trade accordingly. Let me know your viewpoint. What stocks are you watching today? Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. Always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point, so definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.